All right, let's have a look. Ba, ba, ba. Awesome. Panel, perspective. So one of the things I'm going to do here is you've got your camera sort of set in this position here for animation. So I'm just going to go like this, panel perspective new, and I'm going to create a camera called shot cam, like this. And I'm going to basically get it to match sort of the positioning of your perspective camera. So I'll go panel perspective, go back to that other camera. I'm going to select that camera just by clicking. So clicking here selects the camera that you're looking through. And I'm going to hit S to key, and then I'm going to copy that key value. So I'm going to go shift left mouse button click and then go copy. And then I'll go panel perspective shot cam and I'll click, okay, select this camera that I'm looking through and I'll go right click, paste. And so that'll get my shot cam to line up with the same spot as my other camera like this. So now if I go panel perspective, perspective, panel perspective, shot cam, you can see they're both in the same spot. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to lock down my shot cam. So I'm looking through my shot cam right now. I'm going to say lock, and I'm going to lock the focal length as well. Lock selected. That way I can go panel perspective, and in this view, I can sort of orbit around and work and do things, and I don't have to worry about messing up my shot cam that stays in the same place. And I'm also going to go panel perspective, tear off copy. And that allows me to tear off a copy of my shot cam so that I can sort of see what my audience is going to see. And so then I can go back here and go panel perspective here, and now I can work here and adjust my animation, but I can see what's going on in this scene. So it's interesting. One of the challenges I can see is you've got animation on this part here and also this part here. Which is generally not ideal. So now that I've created a shot cam, one of the other things I'm going to do is I want to try and get it so that all of the animation that's sort of separated out on two controls is all happening on a single control. So it's much easier for me to edit and get it looking correct. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say create NURBS primitive circle and scale this up a little bit just so I can see it. And I'm going to go like this and say driver, passenger, constrain, parent, no maintain offset, like that. Hi, just to get snap, and I just want to shut along here for a second to make sure. Yeah, okay, so that's following what I want. And then I'm going to go like this. Go back to frame 0 for a sec. So I'm going to grab you and you, zero you out like that. Just so on that very first frame, I kind of have a point of reference for there. Okay, so now I'm going to grab you, S key, for another constraint. I'm going to go back here, S key. Okay. I'm going to go out to bake, edit keys, bake simulation, blink. Okay, perfect. Like this, so you guys. Outliner here, delete that, make sure that's still animated the way I want. Yeah, okay. So you're the driver, you're the passenger. Parent. I can go like this, grab you, delete. There we go. Okay, that's better. I can grab you. Okay. Make sure that that's doing what I want. Yeah, okay. I could do this. Delete. Okay. the space station. Try smart bake. Smart bake. Bake. Oh, interesting. It ended up a key on every frame, anyways. Okay, driver, passenger, target, graph editor here. Okay, so I can see here, for example. I can see sort of where I can get rid of keys based on curve shapes. We have these guys. Delete you. Delete you. Curve. There we go. Just running a couple of curve filter tools to simplify the curves. That's looking more akin to what you had previously. I just want to double check. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all the animation on controls that you normally shouldn't use. And part of that is I'm going to say like this, cancel that, link. There. And like that. Save. I'm going to say add toggle visibility off on you guys, you, and you. Go. And I'm going to say add select object. There we go. You don't need any more. So now I've got your animation, but I've moved all the keys that used to be sort of split between this one and the light blue ring, and now they're all on a single controller. So that's going to make it a little easier to sort of be able to see what your animation does and edit it. So now I've got a Maya file that I can hand back to you that's basically, it's your animation. It's just that the animation is copied sort of onto the correct controllers. Because basically, the way you had it where this controller and this control were both being used and separating and coming together makes it kind of hard to look at the graph curve and see what's going on. So this will be a much simpler thing because now if I grab this control and I go into the graph editor, it's really easy to see, for example, oh, this is what your translate Y is doing. And so based on what we know of bouncing balls, for example, we can see, oh, we probably want to like take this key here, get rid of that one, have that nice parabola. And so some of the revisions that I'm going to make are going to be based on that idea. The other thing is it allows me to take this controller and go visualize motion trail editor and create an editable motion trail so that within my scene, I can see the arc shape of the character's movement, which also makes it much easier to sort of fix any physics problems. So earlier when I was looking at your file and I drew the arc of like, hey, here it looks like he's jumping like this actually puts it in the scene so that I can actually see like, oh yeah, the arc shape is sort of weird. It kind of goes up okay, but then it comes down really in a straight line. And so I just want to adjust that so it's sort of following good bouncing ball physics. Now that I've got everything sort of organized in a way that I can go ahead and edit this animation and assess things, the first thing that I'm going to look at is just the overall physics. And as I always do, I'm going to try and deal with sort of one thing at a time. So I'm going to deal with just the translate Y first. And you can see I've got a buffer curve snapshot to sort of show what I had previously. I'm going to take this guy here and move him back one. I'm going to get rid of that key there. I'm going to grab this guy here like this. And I'm just going to get that nice parabola shape that I want. And I don't want to change anything substantial about the animation. I think it was working pretty well. I just want to make sure that sort of this bit here as he's in the air is working correctly. I also know that from the moment the character leaves the ground to the moment they touch the ground, the translate Z should be linear. So I'm going to figure out first where it is that he leaves the ground. It looks like he's sort of probably around 32 is where he's no longer touching the ground. So I'm just going to isolate this frame range here just a little bit before, and then I'm going to say it looks like he can sort of touch the ground again around 45. So I'm just going to go a couple of frames after that. And I'm just going to pick sort of the last key before and after the landing there. So I've got that, which means now if I go to my graph editor here, I can see, okay, so this is the frame where he leaves the ground. This is the frame where he touches down again. So I can get rid of all of these keys here, delete. And I know that it should be moving at a steady rate of speed from here to here. And so that tells me, okay, so this is why we were getting that weird shape. And now look at the parabola shape. You can see it's more akin to a bouncing ball, sort of what we'd expect. And that's probably going to help the physics substantially. I might take this moment here, and I'm just going to, don't need that. Take the graph editor here for a second. And I'm just going to tweak this guy down a little bit, because see how he was reaching beyond the joint limits? There, like that. And let's isolate, just translate Y again, frame him up. There we go. And I think this key, apex needs to actually be there. I moved it over a frame and I shouldn't have. Give him a little bit more ease in and ease out. Check my translate Z just to be sure. I can also, I can sort of make it more linear like this and like this, but I could also just grab these two keys, grab those tangent handles specifically and say, hey, at that point there, I want it linear. Because yeah, see, I was a little bit off. And then it also is helpful because I can see the speed he's going at here. I probably want to take this one like that and sort of have it ease out a bit. And then leading into the jump, that looks pretty good. Maybe this here, I'm going to just smooth it out so it sort of doesn't speed up or slow down. Maybe take this one and move it up a little bit, just because I want to see that movement of that mass. The other thing that I saw is that he's sort of shifting from side to side, but he hits this hard stop. So I probably just want to do like a little bit like this and like this, and then that, and probably add some keys in the translate X, because when he leaves the ground here, so actually I probably want to do like this. I want to go translate X, key selected, and this is where he touches down, key selected. I want to make sure that that's sort of behaving itself. But I could do like a little bit like this, whereas he's coming down, he overshoots and recovers again. Just because I don't want to see those hard stops in my animation. Probably do something like this and like that. Like this. There we go. So now as he sort of shifts weight side to side, it's going to look a little smoother. And then let's see here. That's okay. All right, so let's just look at the physics of just the jump. Yeah, I'm happier with that. I feel like that's,
Yes,
you can see
for
it.
sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't very far off. Like it's very difficult to see, because here's the curve. You can see the dark gray is what you had, and the light, this curve is now how I've shifted it. And likewise, the translate Z, you can see that was a little bit more off. But in fact, I can go like this. I can take those two curves and select them, and I can use this swap with buffer curve to say, okay, here's what I had before, here's what I had after. And I'm just going to toggle back and forth, and you'll see the motion trail update as I do it. So if I go like this, here's the shape of the curve before, here it is after. So you can see it's not substantially different, but it's going to make it feel just a little bit more physically believable. And that's what we're after. So now I'm going to do a couple other things. Let's do the lead into the jump. Um, Also, I wanted to call out beautiful posing at the beginning here. So the little turn in legs, the sort of awkwardness, like all of this goes a long ways to sort of make the character feel interesting and sort of natural, the stiff legs. I'd probably be inclined to like do a little bit of a rotation as well, like this, and maybe just bring the character down a teensy bit to bring those knees closer together. Um, but yeah, really nice to see that you don't have that default pose as your starting pose, that you've done something more interesting with the character. So well done. So I think one of the other notes I had was like the balance. I wanted to see it more on this foot. So I'm going to go like this, panel perspective, and go like this. And let me pull up that shot cam. I had a shot cam here that I pulled up, but I'm going to hit 7 for render with all lights so I can sort of see what my audience sees off to the side here. And I'm just going to tuck it sort of over here, shrink it down a little bit. There we go. So I can sort of always see what my audience is seeing as I'm going around and working here. That way I can go to my balance beam view, for example. I'm going to line myself straight up on the toe here and check the balance. And probably I'm going to go like this, S to key and S to key here. And then I'm going to delete this key because I can see 2 keys side by side. And I'm probably going to go here as well, S to key, and delete this key as well because I can see some places. This as well, I can see translate X is keyed, and then here everything else is keyed. So I'm going to key every control there and then get rid of that, just to try and tidy up some of this stuff so I don't have keys sort of all over the place. Okay, so balance beam view. Here's that weight shift. So I'm gonna bring him a little bit more over that foot as he shifts his weight, and then here I'm going to bring it over that foot a little bit more, so more of that weight is on that foot, and then I'm going to go 90 degrees to that view and just make sure from the side it also looks good. So here he shifts forward, looks good. Here I'm going to keep his weight over that foot until his right foot gets to his destination. So likewise here, I'm going to go like this, keep that weight over the foot, and I can do it by rotating the character, for example, like this, or translating the character. Either one works. So here's my balance beam view with the foot lined right up to me. So there, he shifts his weight. Let's see here. Rotate him a little bit forward. That. And here. Rotating in Y, see how it shifts those hips as well? Whenever possible, I want to take this arrow and sort of have it pointing between the legs. So if one foot is back and the other foot's forward, I'm going to sort of shift it so that he's kind of rotating like this. There we go, like that. Let's see here. Checking my balance. Going to go back to my graph curve here and just look for opportunities to smooth this out because I can see he's sort of jolting back and forth here. So I'm going to maybe just get rid of that key there. Simplify it. Translate Z. Frame these guys up here. So maybe get rid of this key here. Like this. So I can get smoother movement. There we go, like that. And then rotates. Again, just simplify this. Simplify you. Simplify. Just smoothing it out. Just trying to, you know what, I'm going to grab this first key here and just go like this. You, just trying to smooth it out. There we go. Go. That's better. Frame you up. Delete you. Frame you guys up. Frame it up. Delete you and delete you. Grab you like that. So you're sort of in motion at the beginning of the scene. Translate X. Grab you like that. Just thinking about the movement of mass overall. There we go. So now let's look at that first bit. So he steps, plants that foot back, that. And I think I might take that foot and step it back a little bit quicker. Let's see here. So if I have a key on his root at 9, I'm going to say, hey, let's get that foot to his destination at 9. So I'm going to grab this key at 14. And I'm just going to shift it forward to 9. So he steps back much quicker. And then I can always, if the angle of the ankle looks a bit rough, I can also grab this roll attribute and just do a little bit of roll like that. So he sort of plants his foot, and then as he shifts his weight, that heel rolls back. Likewise, I can take this foot here that's lifting off. I could probably have that stay on the ground a little bit longer, although it looks pretty good. You know what? Actually, I wouldn't change it. I might, though, the pivot point of the ankle. So see where that heel, how it slides back. I might just place it so that, and this is where BH Ghost is really handy. I'm going to grab the geometry of the character for a second and say BH Ghost here. Launch my BH Ghost tool, and I'm going to say, yeah, there we go. And I'm going to say Ghost for a second. And then I'm going to go like this and say this pose here. I just want that heel back a teeny bit there and like that. So it looks like he's rolling forward like that. And let's check it from the front view as well. Blink. That looks pretty good. This one here, I'm going to have his toe rotating towards where he's taking his foot to. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that foot position here one frame sooner. Let me just check where his root. No, you know what? 21. That's all right. He's all right. But there we go. Now it's rolling a bit better. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. So he's about to lift his foot at frame 14, which means at frame 14, I need to check where his weight is and make sure it's shifted to his other foot. So it looks like my pose is on 15 here on the root. So I'm going to, see, he's at 14, at 16. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say S key at 14, get rid of this pose at 15 like that. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, your weight needs to be off of there by then. So I'm going to go like this and move them over. Check from balance beam view like this. Get rid of my ghost bust all. There we go. I'm going to go to my side view here. Move back some more of that weight's over that foot at the back. So it does mean I have to probably have them shifting more here. So I'm going to go like this and say, translates, get rid of you guys. So let's step back one frame, S key, step here, and then delete that. So it has more time to transition. So here, and probably doesn't need to be that far. If I can get his sort of weight looking like it's over the toe of the foot, that's enough. And I probably can do something like this, where he tilts his body to do some of it. And here, I'm going to go back to my graph editor, go to my rotations, and say, let's start rotating a little bit sooner. S key. He goes, lands the foot, shifts the weight, And then at 16, I could keep that weight going. So I could just say, get him a little bit further over here like this. There. Here, I'm going to pull him, rotate that body back a bit, keep a bit of the weight back. There we go. Here, I'm going to, just looking at the path of that root, trying to build in those arcs. Anticipation. This is where those motion trails are really helpful. This kind of work. You can sort of see the visual of what it looks like as the character flows through the scene. Okay, there we go. I'm happy with that first bit. Step back. And you know what? I'll put a little bit more foot roll on this pose here. Like that. Steps, and then that foot rolls back. Okay, so I'm happy up till frame 21, and then probably from 18 to 21, I'm going to add some foot roll again. You know what? His forward movement, could probably speed him up a little bit there. Let's check graph curve, translate Y. Just make sure. Always thinking about how those transitions look. Smoothing that stuff out. This guy, like this, that. Translate Z, frame him up. That's looking all right. Translate X. Interesting, that's unexpected. What's going on with X? Oh yeah, that's a little quick. Pull you over like this. Yeah, so let's go back to translate X for a second. Delete you. I wonder if I can just do this. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, you know what? Much smoother. And let's look at that rotate stuff. Some janky stuff going on here that I could probably simplify on the rotate instead. Just smoothing these guys out like this. See what that looks like. A lot of times, smoothing things out, it's really just about deleting those keys that you see are popping up and acting weird. There we go. I'm happy with that. So now, as the character is transitioning over, I like this foot roll thing that you got going on here.
Thank you. I wanted to make him a little shy.
Yeah, it comes across really beautifully. The sort of the turned in knees, the kind of the hesitancy works really nicely. So all I want to do now is I'm just going to use the same trick. I'm going to take my BH Ghost here, and let's go like this. Here I'll add selected meshes, Ghost, and I just want to make sure that this key here, see how his foot is sliding back. So I'm just going to keep that, lined up with here. And probably my inclination is do it like this, where I go middle mouse drag, S key, and instead of the foot sliding back, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use that foot roll attribute again, like this, because you can see it actually starts to turn up the toe. I will just a rig error that you can see how his foot was kind of lifting off the controller there, but that'll make it look like he's pivoting on his toe, but also um, bending at the foot a little bit. And let's see how that looks. Yeah, there we go. Keeps his foot from sliding backwards is what we want. Okay, Bastal. There's that step, prepping for the jump. And here we got the push off. I'm going to take this pose here, S key. Likewise, this one, I'm going to middle mouse drag, S key, and I'm just going to use a little bit of foot roll on him instead. And you'll see how it makes the feet look like they're really stuck to the ground. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, probably 2 frames. So I'm just going to take this key and I'm going to move it 1, 2. So he stays on the ground longer. Let's see if I can do 3. Close, but not quite. So I'm going to have to move him back 1, 1, 2. So there he's sticking on the ground, and I'm going to actually take that, roll him back off on it a little bit. Because I want to get that sense that the foot is pushing off. Likewise, this one here, I'm going to move it 1, 2. Move it back 1. There we go. And then back off on this roll here. And that's my maximum roll. So I'm going to do like this. Take you up out of the ground just a teensy bit. There we go. This is where I'll probably have to, I'm going to zero out the roll, translate the foot up like this, rotate it down. And this is where that BH Ghost is also very useful, because I want to essentially do something like this. Where the leg is extended, but not hyperextended. So it looks like it's pushing off. Step here for a second. That nice strong push off. Looking at my, and here I'm going to just delay this foot a little bit. So I'm going to go like this, pull it back. And my goal is just to get that nice stretch pose to read for a couple of frames. So we get that really strong push with the legs. This foot here, I'm going to go back here for a second. I'm going to grab this leg and go like, that's like the message is, it's Bastal Ghost. This guy here, I just want to take this foot and keep him pointing at where his toe was previously. Sort of snapping back a little bit. Get that nice strong extension. There we've got push. And maybe pull this guy back just a teensy bit, just to keep him pointing at that toe spot a little bit longer, to let that stretch read. Getting that strong push off is really important. Yeah, okay. Yep. And you know what? I'm gonna wonder. Graph curve, translate Y, frame him up. Let's see if I can get him a little bit deeper like this. Let him out. Playing around, just seeing if I can get a teensy bit more compression there. And then this moment here, push him down just a little bit. Just so that the acceleration into this moment here for the arc is a little stronger. By pushing him down and having a bit deeper, you can see the angle that he's ramping up into it is a bit better. and it'll just give me a stronger push off. Let me see here. I will need to get some more foot roll. So this guy's looking a little bent here. Give a bit more roll on him and translate him down just a teensy bit. Let's see how that looks. Not too much. Oops. Just a bit more stretch on that leg. More point on the toe. Actually, that at even more polished levels of animation, I would be putting motion trails on the ankles as well and thinking about how they're traveling through space as well. Okay, see how that looks. Again, I'm gonna watch here in my audience's view of things to make sure it looks nice and clear. There we go. Okay, so we've done up to about 34. Let me just isolate that section, hit play. I just want to see how that looks. Let's give it a few more frames here so I can see the ramp up into the jump. Yeah, okay. Now playing back like this, obviously, it's not going to give me a ton of useful insight because it's dropping frames and things like that. So I really need to play blast it to be sure, but that gives me enough information to see how it's going. I like the silhouettes. You've got some really nice, great silhouettes on this one, Aidana. Really well done. Nice asymmetry, good line of action. Lots of really good things going on in this one. This is fun animation to work with because you've done a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so here, the silhouette's getting a little muddled here. I want to see if I can do something to clarify that. It's really tricky. Let's see here. That's really challenging. Let's see here. Pull that knee over just a little bit. Where's his other knee? There it is. Let's zero this out for a second. Generally speaking, the knees, I don't traverse them too far away from the feet. Um, so really, it's this axis of movement here that matters less so than like moving up and down relative to the knee. You can see it's not actually moving it much. Zero for a sec. Zero for a sec. So if I click on the knee pole vector here, the translate X is really the attribute that has the biggest impact um, because it's in follow mode right now. So I might be inclined to sort of go through and just look at your poses. Like here, for example, how interesting is that? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so it's just here where it starts to move around. So I'm just going to go like this. Zero those guys out for a second. In fact, I'm inclined. Let me just see what's going on in the graph curve. You know what? I'm going to delete all this animation here on those guys. I'm just going to use like this Like follow and lock, I just key them at the beginning of the scene. I don't need to keep doing stuff with them. And then I can simplify my keys there like that. There we go. Yeah, okay, that's better. That's going to make it a little easier to keep track of these guys. Delete selected on you guys as well. There we go. Okay. Okay, so back to this moment here where it was getting a little muddled. Let's see if I can clarify that silhouette a bit. Happy with that. And it just might not be possible, but let's see here. I'm going to go like this. Let's try and tidy up the hips for a second. I'm going to tilt them a bit like this because, that's you. Tilt your mass a little bit forward here like this because I want to sort of keep his mass moving along the line there. Better for a second. Interesting. Okay. Grab you. Let's see here. That might be a little too extreme, but let's see here. I'm going to pull this up just a teensy bit. Just back off on the toe angle a little bit. Digging what you're doing here. I'm just going to see if I can get yeah, so just rolling the bottom of the foot towards us a little bit so it's showing a bit more clearly. That. These are interesting. Interesting challenges. Let's see you. So it's really this guy that's the biggest difficulty, and I probably wonder. Yeah, I think part of it is the way the feet transpose position in silhouette. So I can really clearly see, okay, here's his right foot, here's his left foot. At this point, they're like one on top of the other. And so when I get to this moment, it's like, I'm not sure who's who. So I just want to manage that transition a little better. Pull this guy. See, I just want to do it with as few keys as possible. Like if I do this, pull him a bit more to the center line just to try and clarify that silhouette. Yeah, it's a really interesting challenge. What if I pulled this guy down a bit, just to separate out a bit of negative space there? Let me open up my shot cam a bit so I can see it more clearly. Okay, so you, I pull you like this. There we go. Yeah, there's still a real challenge. Okay, what if I pull you back a bit like this? So what I'm trying to do is manage the interpolation, but it's not doing quite so much. Yeah, it looks like I'm just gonna have to put an in between on that foot. Try this. What if I do this? Pull this foot just so that the angle, yeah, it's the 35 where it's a real problem. So I'm just gonna go like this. I'm gonna say I'm gonna pull you back just a scotch like this, and I'm just gonna pull you forward just a scotch like this. There we go. separating them out there. Let's see how that transition looks now. Okay, maybe if I do this, that this foot starts to tighten up on angle. And it kind of goes in the vein of keeping the character looking a little nervous and awkward. If this foot, yeah, there we go. That's getting better. And then this guy, if he stretching back just a little bit more, there we go. Boink, 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 boink. Back a little bit more like that. There we go. And it's really just about being able to keep track of the 2 feet so we know who's who. And then here at 40, I'm just going to do this. Pull you back a little bit more like that. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I can tell who's who in silhouette. This might be a little too extreme. What happens if I do this? Need an in between there. Okay. Now, to get to the landing, you can go like this, So I'm going to go rotate, translate, zero those 3 out, just get the foot to sit flat on the ground at this frame at 47. And I'm going to move that key at 47 back 2 frames because I think, oh no, 1 frame. His foot can reach at 46. Let's see. And you know what? I'm going to middle mouse drag est key to 50. I'm going to take this leg here, ghost, so that on 45, I just want to make sure that that leg is stretching towards its destination, which it is. Don't think I can get any closer than that. Get just a little bit closer to straight. And then we try and get this foot. So instead, I'm going to go translate, rotate, rotate like that. 0, and instead use the foot roll to lift the foot up like that. And actually here, you know what, I'm going to do this, bust all for a second, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, this, bust all. I'm going to go ghost so I can see the pose that you had previously. I'm going to try and reproduce the same idea just by translate, which means the up and down, zeroed out, the rotate, which is the pitch like this, zeroed out, and the X or the Z, which is foot roll like this, zeroed out. So that it's flat, and instead use the foot roll attribute to lift it up a bit. So translate to bring it down a little bit, and then translate Z to bring it back. So it's sort of in the same position. But now the advantage here is that I can sort of lock that foot down based on that position. The est key here. I'm going to pull him back 1 frame, maybe even 2 frames. Let's see, can he reach? Get rid of that frame. Get rid of the roll attribute. Pull him up. Because I want to have want to have those feet sort of starting to trend towards where they're going to land. Separate him out like this. Okay. You tip this toe down even more to separate it out from silhouette. Thinking about where it's going to. That. Okay. Have that foot landing now. You back a little bit like that. So he's aiming towards that landing spot. It can be a bit more bent. So now I can take you. 1, 2. Let's try 3 frames. So I'm going to take this pose, middle mouse drag, S key. So I take him to here like this. Let's see, roll. Boy, it's a big challenge. But there now I've got a good solid contact. So there, that toe's touching down, and then it's compressing. Pressing. There. And you can even have like a bit of foot roll there like that. This foot's got to hold longer. So you take this 4850 and move it 1, 2. So I got to keep that foot on the ground longer until his weight gets shifted to this front foot more. Here I'm going to zero you out on the roll. It's nice and planted. And then what I can do with this guy is I can have him further forward sooner. So I can go like this, translate Z, which actually makes sense because you can see the inertia he was moving at. I actually want him further forward anyways. So I'm going to go like this, delete, delete, grab you like that. He's further forward along. And let's open up the range that we're working in. Likewise, this bit here. I'm going to delete this. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to let the speed that he was going at carry through more like that. See how that looks. You linear, you linear. Like this, flat you out for a sec, like this. You flat, like that, so the 2 tangent handles are aligned. There, and see that shows me if he was just moving forward in Z, that's sort of how he would kind of flow through to the next part. So that helps when he lands. Whoops. When he lands, he just flows through. And that way he gets his weight closer onto the heel, which then means the weight is off of this back foot, which means that you can then lift that foot. Let's see a little bit more roll here. Da, da, da. This point here, I'm going to say zero at that roll. Grab this foot, rotate it like this, take him back like this, using my pH ghost here to guide me. And then just trying to keep the separation there. This is a little tricky. This interpolation here. Zero out the roll. Rotate the foot like this. Oh, that's too fast. Delete. Yes. Try this. There. Rolling that toe off. Oops. Up a little bit. See where he's going here. Pretty crazy. You see, go like this. Pull this foot down a little bit just to separate out. So there's that foot rolling off. Delete this key for a second so I can get sort of an interpolation between them. Wow, this is really tricky. You translate X. I'm just going to pull you down a bit. There we go. Okay, so you down like that. Using my BH Ghost to guide me there. You out. My tendency is to sort of not use foot roll the second the foot is kind of in motion, just to keep the shape a little more controllable. Yeah, boy, I'm ending up having to put a key on almost every frame for this to get this path on this foot working the way I want. Now this was where my suggestion, I think, was to have the foot further forward like this, zero out that roll. Bring it in a little bit just to help the separation, get the foot out where it's going to support his weight. And I think delete for a second. So let's see if I can get one frame sooner. Yeah, that's better. Ideally, I'd love to get it in even one frame sooner than that. That's pretty quick. Oof, yeah, that's not that's not very plausible, is it? But you know what? Okay, let's see here. Let's try this. Get that foot up there because I think, yeah, at this moment here, so middle must drag S to key. Yeah, I needed it sort of fairly far up. get the rest of the animation so I can see where his mass is. Yeah. Let's get rid of you. Delete. Oops, not you. Silly. Delete. Good thing your character rig is referenced. Move him to 70. So he gets, yeah, okay. A, translate Y, rotate X, rotate Z, zero him out. Whoops. Dave. Zero those guys out. There we go. Zero these guys out. There we go. I wonder if I can get there even sooner. Delete you. Delete you. Okay, so you. Roll 0. And then rotate X. Twist you like that. Just seeing if I can make that footstep quicker. It's asking a lot of this poor guy. Okay, you know what? Do it like this. Try something else here. Just gonna see what that looks like at speed. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, okay, pretty quick, but arguably plausible. Okay, and let's see here. So this pose here, I just need this pose to be further forward like that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to middle mouse drag S key to copy that pose and just use foot roll to lift up that toe with a little bit of translate Y to sink it down like that. Keep it in the same position. And then you, middle mouse drag, key, bit more roll. Okay. Zero him out. Let's drag S key. You. So you know what? You delete. You delete. Okay. Oh, interesting. Bunch of translate X stuff I didn't account for. So it looks like I wasn't keying my foot on every channel. And so some of my poses there, yeah, I needed to be hitting S to key because you could see here like I wasn't keying the rotations and a bunch of stuff. And so some of my interpolations are a little messed up. See, zero you out, zero you out. I'm just going through and zeroing the knee in a bunch of places because I don't think the keys on it were making any difference to the posing. And it makes it a little more reliable to see what's happening interpolation wise. Just looking a little messed up in here. Can't really read that pose very well. Let's see, what if I translate? There we go, just to get that separation on the hook. Translate X. There we go, just to get the separation on the ankle. There we go. So as his weight is getting towards the tip of that foot, and you take this guy back to here. Okay, there we go. Lands, steps forward quickly to sort of shift his weight. Nest key. His foot. So I just need to extend him a couple more frames. I'm probably going to go like this, and then here. And let's go BH Ghost, bust all Ghost, just to get this foot roll moment here. These, that foot sort of rolls back on the heel. Try and keep that same aesthetic that you've got going on. But this sort of turned in knees, kind of feeling awkward, so I'm going to turn the toe in. Root, before this foot lifts off, needs to be back onto that space like that. I'm using rotations to shift some of the weight. Now I can go into the graph editor and I can say, hey, let's grab that rotate X and let him start rotating sooner. Those guys as well. Rotate Y. Rotate X. Those guys look all right. Simplify some of that stuff. See what's going on there. Check into the graph editor. Oh, I see. See here, it looks like my translates, my rotates are sort of mistimed with each other. So I'm going to go like this and say, let's set a key on all channels here. Get rid of you. Try and tidy things up a little bit. There we go. So by this point here, where's your pull vector? Is that it? Oh, I see they're on top, one on top of each other. Is that really what's happening here? Oh no, there it is. Okay. Well, that is the, yeah, that is the right leg. There it is. There you go for a second. Don't need another key there. Okay, there we go. So you got to translate Y here. And I feel like I could Simplify that, simplify that, simplify those guys. Oh no, I don't want to do that. There, I'm going to keep you in the middle there, like that. So I don't want to mess up my up and down too much. I just don't want it to be popping and twitching too much if I can avoid it. There we go. That's better. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so you just need to be a teensy bit lower there. Okay, you frame you up. Do like that instead, and like that instead. There we go. Down like this. Just get a little bit of a, yeah, there we go. And probably you. I'm going to shift you by one frame there just to let the roll off be a little slower. And you could move 2 frames later as well so the foot doesn't come back quite as quickly. Because as long as this root, this point here, you translate X to be a little bit more over like this. Get the weight more over on this side. I can also do some of it with the, not just the translates, but the rotates as well. I could do like this. Boop, boop. There we go. And like even rotate it back a little bit more too. Oh, hyperextension there though. So I do need to pop you back a little quicker. But I could get you to your destination sooner too. 1, 2, what does that look like? Yeah, I could even do 1, 2, S key like that. And take this moment and like do some foot roll like this. Do like this. Then add a breakdown here, like a little in between on the foot. Just check my balance beam view here. You need to be a little further back. That, that. Do more with the rotation here. Take down on the translation here. And lower you down here a little bit. Let's see here, translate Y. Bring guys up a little bit. This. Like this. That. That. Yeah, there we go. Like that. Step. And then on the rotates, just don't have them come back quite so quickly here or here. Move my graph editor so I can see how this roll back. Yeah, you guys could do like that. Whoops, not like that though. Yeah, like that, like that. Just tidying up some of my rotates in the graph editor here. Again, trying to have just smooth interpolations. Some of these rotate Ys are a little crazy. Let's see here. For example, yeah, okay. Okay. Back to shot cam. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, okay. Pastel, show none, show polys. Yeah, that's pretty close. Go ahead and play blast and see what it looks like. Play blast. Da, da, da. I'll cancel that. Blink. Copy that. Blink. Blink. And no, blink. Blink. Save. Just blast. If it actually successfully outputs a movie file or not. Yeah, I didn't think so. A lot of times it's been failing lately. So let's do this. AVI, IYUV, playlist. Delete that. Yeah, that step forward is awfully quick. I'm going to see if I can smooth that out. So here, if we stop here, stepping along frame by frame, there's a hyperextension here. So see where that knee pops at like frame.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I just need to soften that a little bit. So for this part here, I'm gonna do so the proper workflow here is I'm gonna do a polishing list where I'm gonna write down everything I'm seeing in the movie file, and those are the only things I'm gonna fix. But before I do that, I got a play blast. I'm gonna do this, say show viewport and make sure I have. Oh, you know what? I bet you I have my play blast. Let's see, play blast display override viewport. I want to make sure I have HUD turned on. Yeah, that's all correct. Okay, so why wasn't it showing my heads-up display? Display, heads-up display. Let's turn off frame rate. Oh, actually, let's tear this off for a second. I want to current frame. I want my current frame so I can see what frame things are at. I don't need camera names. Don't need cap lock. Current frame. Don't need symmetry view, axis view, cube. Don't need any of that stuff. Yeah, okay, there we go. Let's play blast that one more time. I'm going to delete that. ABI, second playblast. Playblast. Do that again. Because I need my frame counter here so I can see there. Okay. So as I step along, so I'm going to pause for a sec. So it's let's see, it's right knee pop, pop, X 41. Okay, then the next thing I saw, yeah, I wanted to soften that step forward. How can I do that? So it feels like the foot could be in motion one frame sooner, maybe. So let's see, left foot, X51 at 50. Yeah, I think so. I think so. And so let's see, 54, X54 at 53, question mark. Yeah, I just want to see if I can sort of get it there sooner or give it a transition frame. So let's see here. Yeah, so start at 50. Because right now, currently, the step is essentially from 51, 2, 3, 4. And so I want to see if I can start at like 50 or 49. There's 1, 2. And let me hit play again just to see if there's anything else. Feet are a little stroby through there. I'm just trying to see if there's a way to. I wonder if there's a way to get a stronger push off. X34. Longer. It's like X35 too. Yeah, it just strobes a little bit through this transition here, and I just want to see if I can smooth that out somehow. Yeah, the transposition of the 2 feet is really tricky. So I'll start with the right foot. Right foot better. See if I can come up with something better. Okay, like this. So number 1 was, oh, the knee pop at 41. Okay, so there's curves here. Grab this guy here. Oh yeah, he's going beyond the joint limits. That's why he's sort of popping. So it looks like I just need I'm going to key him there. I'm just going to pull him back a little bit like that. Pull him up a little bit like that. There, that's better. That gets rid of that pop. Okay, and now you keep you stretching just a little bit longer. And I'm only moving in two-dimensional space, really. I'm not even looking in the 3D viewport. And it's even sometimes helpful to do it like this. I like this. Just check my notes here before I stretch longer. Yeah, so I'm going to grab this guy as well and try and just pull him down and get more of that stretch post for just one frame longer. Felt like his legs were strobing. So again, just looking at it two-dimensional space. We put an animated motion trail on this guy. Because that sometimes helps. Just that's going to make it a little more predictable. Turn on my resolution gauges so I can see. Let's do you. Okay, now get rid of that motion trail. Get rid of that motion trail. Now I'm going to do a motion trail on this guy. Oh yeah, he's all over the map. So you, that, that, so like this. Maybe if I pull them up like that. Let's see here. Actually, I'm going to go like this. Show. Let's turn off nerves curse because I don't actually need to see the control object, and I really need to see what the silhouette looks like. Trying to figure out how to get. Oh, that's a mess. There, that's better. Just trying to keep that silhouette of that toe clear. There. There. Now I can see both feet, what they're doing. Okay, so that was that one. Oh, X51 to 50. Yeah, okay. So this pose here. So nerves curves. Let's see here. I want this pose sooner. So let's just try shifting you to like this. Try shifting you one frame sooner too. Oof, you're a janky mess, aren't you? Display grid. Visions to apply. I just need to see. See when his foot is going through the ground. Oh, nerves curves. Turn it off for a second. Mm-hmm. Just getting that toe to be trackable. There's the knee coming out. Yeah, it's going down through the ground plane. This is actually where create polygon primitive plane is useful. Just to see where our intersections are happening. There, and then let's show. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place, silly Dave. That way I can pick my controls without actually having to see my controls. Don't need you anymore. Okay. Frame by frame here. You can move back one frame like that. Yeah, there, that's better. So that gives a couple more frames for the transition. Trying to smooth this out just as much as I possibly can. Just fixing this one push off. One of the things that I wanted was just more of a sense of push off. And was it at 34? Want to bring those feet closer together here. There we go. Now that I put the motion trail on the feet, they're much easier to sort of follow what each foot is doing. But I am going to take this guy, I'm going to say motion trail on you, second. And you can see already like the arc looks very similar to the bouncing ball on that foot as well.
Yeah, I see.
Just because that's also going to help give it a heavy feeling on the landing. Now I don't need to be going in here frame by frame, but mostly I'm doing it just so you can sort of see the frame markers as they occur. And truthfully, moving in two-dimensional space like this is risky because I don't really know what I'm doing in three-dimensional space. So for example, if I go here, panel perspective, and look at this arc shape here, you can see I'm drifting all over the place. I'm doing some pretty crazy stuff just for the way it visually lines up on the screen. Whereas when I get lights in there or something like that, I hand this off to uh, rendering. It might reveal with the shadows of like, oh man, Dave's doing some really crazy stuff in 2 dimensions. It looks okay, but in 3 dimensions, it's a complete mess. Okay, now perspective shot cam. Now I can go back in here and sort of tweak some of these. And truthfully, these feet are also world space objects. So I should be able to go in here, for example, and say, okay, so this is ballpark where I'd like it to be, but you know what? I should be able to just go like this and like this and like this and just get this arc roughly following along where I'd like it to be, like that, like that, like that. Like I shouldn't be putting a key on every frame. Um, Mostly just because keys are, if you think of them as every key costs time and time costs money, animating frame by frame like that, stop motion animators do it because they have to, but it's not a very efficient way to work. I'd be far smarter to like try and do things in as tidy a way as possible. And then if the director says, oh, shave off a frame here, add a frame there, it's much easier to do if I don't have so many keys on every frame. And if I treat it like a bouncing ball, I know, you know what, over this entire range, I probably just want that to be linear, like that. And you can already see the arc shape starts to improve substantially as I start to remove some of those keys. And that foot is now much easier to track visually. But let's say, I'm just going to see if I have any more notes for myself. Did I fix that knee pop at 41? I thought that was the first thing I did. Yeah, okay, I fixed that. Yeah, okay, there we go. Turn that off for a second. File, save scene, playblast. I'm going to get rid of that AVI. So delete the old AVI before I playblast a new one. I'm going to get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Yeah, okay. Playblast. There. Okay. There we go. Now I can follow what both feet are doing nice and smooth. That step forward isn't quite so stroby. And then it just becomes a case of look for the next thing that bugs me or the thing that I'd like to fix. That little pop in the heel right there, that feels like it could just drop down a little. I don't mind it. It's a little too smooth. I'd like to noise it up a bit, sort of heighten because your posing is really nice and awkward and nervous. And so I could do little things to add some noise to the heel pops, like the way the heels pop down and stuff like that to make the character feel more anxious. Um, the timing on those steps at the beginning, I really like. Looking at the overall height of the jump and stuff. Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go convert that. So there's the revised version. Sync sketch, you can check it out there. There we go. Point, general frame, submit. There. Okay. So here's what we had originally. Okay, and then actually we can even do this, that, and then go compare, blink, blink. And so now you can just play them both side by side here. Let me see here. Blink. Just making sure they're synced. And here, let's do this as well. Turn off the sketches. Just sort of see the two animations. So you can see there's not a huge difference between them. Just small little tweaks. Yeah, nice work. It's funny. Are they different frame rate ranges? Because they seem just a little out of sync, and I didn't think I changed
Yeah, I
the
think
time.
I saved the version before I changed some colors and other stuff before playtest.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you can see how it fixes like little things like some little foot slipping stuff I did early on, and a couple little balance things, and then some physics stuff on the main body. But the difference between the two is very, very small.
But overall, it makes it more natural.
It helps, and it's little things like just helps the eye follow things. It is a good indication too of like the difference between 90% and 100%. It's like it's hours of work. It's a lot of fiddling. It's not that distinctly different. It's just teeny little things that make it easier to sort of see the movement of the feet at the beginning, the sense of the push off here. Like you can see how it sort of feels like he floats up off the ground because the feet aren't sticking, whereas just adding an extra frame of the feet sticking and then extending the time of that stretch just a little bit longer, the tracking of the feet to be able to tell one from the other was really tricky because the silhouette was very hard to read, and it was a really challenging thing that you were trying to do here. This step forward, that was really tricky, bringing the foot forward in that really tucked in position. and getting it out fast enough ahead of the balance. Just little small things like that. Like you can see, I changed the translate Z on the body, so he sort of transitions smoother. Where you can see you sort of jump forward in Z there on the body. I kind of revised that and dialed that back, and then this last little bit of shifting the weight back. But yeah, this one, I just hang a second. I just want to check my off here for a sec. I'll check my balance there. Oh no, I guess it's okay. The balance looks a little off there to me, so I just want to check. Yeah, okay, it's precarious. It feels a little. Oh no, I guess actually it's more like in here. I wasn't accounting for how much the legs were forward. Yeah, okay, all right, that balance is okay. For a second, it just looked like my balance was a little off. For sure. Looking at that landing. Going to here for a second. This is actually one of the things I find really helpful too, is looking at the work in Sync Sketch. Sometimes is it helps you to sort of see things in a clearer way. Yeah, okay, that's aiming towards the target. Oh, you know what? This heel, I probably pull it down just a teensy bit so that it's aiming towards where his foot's going to land a little better. Yeah, can you see how it's not quite in line? Like here would put it more in line with that landing position. And it might have helped if I kept this foot up a little higher and the knee a little more bent here. You know, and I could even do like here if it was just a little bit higher, get some more separation out from there, maybe. See. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'd probably check the arc of this foot, see if it could be higher, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. There's a like you're never done with it, so you just have to let it go. I could goof around with this a lot longer. All right, well, thanks for letting me play with your file, and hopefully that's useful.